Hello all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about how to perform mask changes in fixed assets module. So mask changes is nothing but making a changes to a depreciation method, depreciation rule, bonus rule, depreciation life, etc. for a bunch of assets on a single go based on some criteria. Okay. Now let me show you how we can perform this in Oracle fixed assets module. So log into your fixed assets responsibility. So in my current example, I logged into fixed assets supervisor Reliance INR responsibility. Reliance INR is my ledger, and under Reliance INR ledger, I have Reliance Corp and Reliance tax book. So I'll be showing you how to perform FA mass changes in Reliance corporate book. So one of the prerequisite for performing FA mass changes is you should enable the allow mass changes and amortized mass changes checkbox at the book controls level. So let me show you. I navigate to your setup, asset system, book controls, query for my corporate book, Reliance corporate book. Under accounting rules, you can see there are two checkboxes: allow amortized changes and allow mass changes. So in order for us to proceed with the mass changes under this particular book, you should ensure that these two checkboxes are checked in the book controls level. Now, in order to perform the mass transactions, you need to navigate to mass transactions changes. So here, select the book name under which you want to perform the mass transactions, and here you can see the various things which you can change. So this is before and this is after, like what exactly is the existing values and what exactly you want those values to be changed. This is from and say to, and this is where you need to specify the criteria. If you want to perform this mass transaction for a specific range of asset, then specify the asset number from and asset number to. And if you want to perform that particular mass changes for the assets which fall under specific date based in service, then enter that under date based in service from and to, or like a range. So if you enter a specific date range, so all the assets which fall which has that date placed in service within this particular range will be picked up by the system and perform this mass change for those assets. So in my current example, I just want to pick up a specific asset category. The asset category which I'm going to specify is computer and software. Under this particular asset category, I have chosen two different assets, and for these two assets, the current depreciation method is Reliance STL and the life is one. So I just want to change the depreciation method from Reliance STL to test underscore PIA. That is my depreciation method, and life from say 1 year to 5 years. So before I even proceed with this mass change functionality, let me just query for these two assets and show you the existing depreciation method. It should be Reliance STL. Let me use this form, navigate to assets, asset workbench, query for my first asset, go to books, Reliance Corp, and this is my depreciation method. So I just want to change the depreciation method of this asset as well as this asset from Reliance STL to test underscore PI1. So observe one more thing here. There's a checkbox called amortize checkbox. This is already checked for this particular asset. So that means any changes in future, whether it's a change in the depreciation method or a rate or a change in the current cost or whatever may be, any change for these assets, the future adjustment should be amortized adjustment. Let me check for the next asset as well. Reliance Corp. So even for this from asset from depreciation methods Reliance STL. So for these two assets, I want to change the depreciation method from Reliance STL with a life of 1 to test underscore PIA with a life of 5. Even here you can see amortized checkbox is checked. When you are performing mask changes for these assets, especially for these two assets where the amortized checkbox is checked, you should also check that amortized adjustment checkbox when you are performing mask changes. If you do not check the checkbox, then mask change will not happen for these assets. Now let's see what will happen if I do not check the checkbox and if I check the checkbox. Go to mask changes, Reliance Corporate, select my asset category. So here I have entered a asset category of computer and software. So in this current environment, under this particular asset category, with the existing depreciation method of Reliance STL and with the depreciation life of 1, I have only 2 assets, and these are the 2 assets. And I want to change the depreciation method of these 2 assets from Reliance STL to test underscore PIA1 with the rate of 5%. Okay, now save. Whenever you perform the mass transactions, first step is first you need to click on preview. So when you click on preview, a program gets triggered in the background. So the preview report will show you the details of all the assets which are impacted by this particular change. So if you are satisfied with that, the next step would be to, once that particular program is completed, you need to requery this particular mass transaction number, and then you can click on run so that it will proceed further. And if you are not satisfied with this, you can just delete and then proceed further. Let me copy this mass transaction number. And this is the request ID. So let's check if this request ID is completed. 315, it's still running. So this particular program has triggered this request. Okay, maybe we need to check the output of this request. Mass change preview report. So this particular report will give you the details of all the assets which are impacted. So it has given these two assets 168,573 and 227,579. So remember, in the current case, I did not check the checkbox. Even though I did not check the checkbox, in the preview it has shown that those two assets will be impacted. Now let us requery this and then try to run, and let's see what will happen. I did not even check this checkbox. So ideally system should not allow me to. Preview is fine, but when you are actually running, that's when system is actually trying to perform the actual mass change or mass transaction. When system is performing this mass transaction, it should ensure that this amortized checkbox is checked. If the amortized checkbox is not checked, ideally that particular program which gets triggered should complete in kind of an error and show this appropriate error message saying that it cannot perform this particular transaction because we have not checked the amortized checkbox. So generally in fixed assets, once you perform any amortized adjustment on an asset, all the future adjustments should be amortized adjustment only. So what is the meaning of the amortized adjustment? So basically, the meaning of the amortized adjustment is when you specify your amortized adjustment, you should also specify the amortization start date. That is the date from which you want that particular change to get an impacted. So whether it could be changed in the depreciation method or depreciation calculation or whatever may be the case. If you do not check the checkbox, then the change will be effective from the date placed in service, and from the date placed in service to the current date, system is going to do a catch-up depreciation change, or it's going to do a recalculating of the different numbers, and the catch up, if it is with regard to say change in the depreciation method or depreciation rate, then system is going to do a total recalculation from the date placed in service, and if there is any catch up depreciation excess or less depreciation compared to the depreciation which is already charged in the system, then that impact of that particular depreciation number will be adjusted in the current month, but the depreciation calculation will be recalculated from the date based in service. But if you specify your amortization start date, then the depreciation calculation will be recalculated only from the start date, whatever you have mentioned. So in the current example, I did not check this amortized adjustment. See, as I did not check the amortized adjustment, this particular program got completed in error. Let's see the output. Mass change failed for this access. Please view the log file for this details. So it is asking us to view the log file. Let us open the log file. And in the log file, it clearly says that you cannot expense an adjustment to an asset for which you have already performed an amortized adjustment. Please amortize this adjustment. Mass change failed for this asset. So it is asking us to check this amortized checkbox. So let us again requery this. Okay, now this time let me try. I cannot now do this. So get rid of this and then create a fresh one. I mean, this particular transaction was not performed. It has already thrown an error message in the log file. So you can just leave this as is, or you can delete this. Let me delete this. Mass change again. Amortization. So when I see, if you see here, when I check this checkbox, automatically this change date will be updated to amortization start date. So from which date you want this amortization to take impact, you can again specify maybe today's date or last month date, or even you can even specify the DPAS as well, date based in service as well. But generally, if you check this checkbox amortized, then it depends. Like you will not be in general selecting the date based in service. So I'll just select previous month. First of So in my current environment, the current open period is June. Even though today's date is 28th of May, I have already closed May period. So my current open period in my current example is June. That's the reason why June 1st is actually defaulting in this particular screen. Now I just want this amortization to take impact from, say, not even May. Maybe I just want to take an impact from April 1st. Let's see. And then enter the criteria, computer software. Depreciation method is Reliance still, because the last one whatever we tried did not work. In this example, I want the system to pick up all the assets which has the asset category of computer and software and which has the existing depreciation method of Reliance STL with life as 1 year. And for all those assets, I want system to change the depreciation method from Reliance STL to test underscore PIA and with a depreciation rate of 5%. And I want those the I want that particular adjustment to be amortized adjustment. Okay. Now again, let me click on preview. Again, wait for the program to be completed. I mean, this is just a preview, so it should get completed successfully. And once the preview is completed, you can requery the mass transaction and then perform run. You need to wait for the main program as well as the chip. I mean, this particular program as well to be completed. So this particular program has triggered this report. Okay. Again, let us check the output. Okay, it has picked up the two. Let me just close the other record. Okay, now requery my mass transaction. and then click on run. Okay, this time the mass transaction ideally should be successful. The reason being, now this time we have checked the amortized adjustment checkbox, and system is expecting us to check that checkbox for these two assets because there are already in existing amortized adjustment on these two assets. Okay, so mass change is completed. Now click on view output. Here you should be able to see it is success for this particular mass transaction. So this is from and this is to. Now if I try to requery these assets, I should be able to see the updated depreciation method as test underscore PIA. Let me pick up one asset number as an example and then query for that. I can go to financial inquiry. From financial, you can see depreciation method is test underscore PIA. Okay. Okay. If you want, we can even check this for the other asset as well. You can go to the financial inquiry, or you can even go to books and check test underscore PIA. So that's the updated depreciation method. And once you run the depreciation process for the month of June, you will be able to see the impact on your depreciation amount. So depreciation amount will change because you have changed the depreciation method from Reliance STL to test underscore PIA, and your depreciation earlier it was straight line method, now it has changed to a percentage based method, and it's 5% here. So obviously system is going to do a recalculation of the depreciation with an effective date of 1st of April 2020. So from April 1st, it's going to do the recalculation up to the current open period, and the whatever the recalculated adjustment depreciation amount, that will be pushed to your current period, which is June period, once you run your depreciation process. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. For interesting videos on Oracle financials, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.